All right, have at it.
Coach, in the season where you've had to grind out so many wins, what's it like to kind of get one like this where you don't have to necessarily sweat it out into the very end?
Well, we played great. First half we were terrific, and everybody played and contributed. And bench was good, and starters were all great. And we don't have, without Kevin, we don't. Obviously, our margin of error is even less. But when the ball moves like that, and you guard like that to start a game, you're going to be in a pretty favorable position most times, especially at home, and that's what happened tonight.
You had talked about wanting to find a good way to deal with Dessou. Just how were you guys able to do it, and what was key to that defensive effort?
Well, we switched ball screens with him. And, we didn't get to him twice. One of was with Hunter when he was at the 5. So, we tried to play, somebody else always the 5-man, and so that meant Hunter didn't have to guard him. So that was good for us.
Coach, Rodney said that KJ Adams might be one of the most improved players this season. What have you seen from him in terms of his improvement?
Well, Rodney's right. I mean, he was the most improved player in our league last year, and he could win it again this year. I mean, that's how good I think he's done. But he won't. But that's how I think he could, just because that's not how the voting works. But isn't that right, CJ? More likely. But he's made the transition from a 4-man to a 5-man, and now back to a guard. And he does everything and just shoot the ball from the perimeter, but he still finds a way to utilize that body and athletic ability in positive ways, and he's just a really good player.
And then he kind of talked about the extra excitement for playing against Texas, his hometown team. What did you see from him tonight specifically that kind of helped him elevate his game to that point?
Well, I mean, he was going to be Jack because he's from Austin. Brock's was his high school teammate, and I think Brock's a couple of years older than him, if I'm not mistaken. So KJ's probably always looked up to Brock, and so yeah, he was going to be turned up. We talked about that last night. So and they beat us 2 times in a row last year in the season. So our guys were ready today.
Generally, what do you think of Nick and what he offered you guys today?
I thought he's great. One thing about Nick, he's an athlete. I think he's proven that multiple times this year. But that athletic dunk play was a big time play, and I thought he played quick. I thought he didn't shoot a lot of shots, but took good shots and just played within himself and guarded pretty good. I thought he played a really solid game.
Long term, what's kind of your concern level with Kevin and the bone bruise with his knee?
Well, my concern is, will he play again this year? So, it's not a day-to-day deal. It's a week-to-week deal. And he obviously won't go on Tuesday, and so I'm not going to put him out there because he's missed so much time. Even though you can look at games, the number of games missed, but that's not the story. The story is, he played against OU and had 2 days of a little bit of practice, and then played, and he wasn't effective, and it didn't. It didn't feel good at all. So he's going to practice for a good week before we put him out there, so that he can go and not re-injure worse. Because the big thing is, I like to have him for the postseason where he's in rhythm and our team has a chance to be the best it can be. Going into the second week of March. But I'm hoping we get him back, but it's not anything that I'm thinking it's going to happen tomorrow or Monday. I don't think that at all.
Bill, you paired Johnny and KJ together, and then Hunter, Nick Timberlake, and DeJuan together when you were substituting. Any reason for that?
Try to have a perimeter shooter in the game.
Yeah. At all times.
Well, it just I thought that was basically it. So I thought you didn't want, the way I saw it, you didn't want Hunter and KJ both to be out at the same time, and you obviously and that wouldn't have happened that way more than likely. I thought KJ and Johnny together would although we would be small when they're not in there. I just thought just having a shooter in the game, they could at least stretch it depending on how they played us. So we stuck with it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill, you talked about the improvement of KJ, but how have you seen those backups coming in and improve with the minutes they gave you today?
Yeah, I thought they were, it was a rotation deal, but they were great. I thought Elmarco was good, I thought Jabari was good, and I thought Parker did some good things too. So even though it's not a big sample size, but 36 minutes is more than we've been getting. And starters playing 33 is a lot less than what they have been playing. So, I don't know if it'll get tweaked or whatever, but I thought it was pretty good for us today. I thought the bench was great.
Does that give you hope, with you talking about Kevin potentially being out?
Yeah. So I'm gonna figure something out. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm gonna figure something out and get some rotation going where we can play those starters, even though it's not gonna be significantly less, but 33 is a much better number than 36. Because the guys, I think Hunt got tired one time, and that was you played 8 minutes without a stoppage in the first deal, so that was a long time. But other than that, I don't think that Juan and KJ and Johnny and Nick even thought about being fatigued, and that hasn't been the case for most of the year.
With that sub pattern, does it have anything to do with those three guys coming in together, playing together, the continuity?
That's
together?
that's the only way I know how to do it, and make sure that all the starters play the same amount of minutes. So rather than putting one in at a time, I thought it was, okay, these are the 5 plays you can run when you're in there. These are the 5 plays you can run when you're in there. This is, so I just thought it was easy that way. I had my little play sheet out because I've never done that. So I had down, okay, with this lineup, these are the 5 or 7 plays we can run with this lineup, and with this lineup, these are the 5 or 7. And when the starters are in, these are the 12 or whatever we'll do. But just to try to, for me, just to have an semblance on, okay, if one of them's in the game, does this play work as good? And yes, I just felt like that was the best way to do it.
Did you need the week to implement that not having that midweek game?
Probably, yeah, probably so.
Has Kevin practiced at all since that last game?
He hasn't done anything.
Anything else?
Let's go.
Okay, guys.